Let me get my Alvin Yellowhorses out. Unfortunately, I'll probably have to sell these because I just bought these from Alvin along with a killer ring. But it's so nice that you would take the time, to come and not only sell me some great jewelry, but just have this chat.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I was missed you last time, but we hooked up today, and I'm excited.
Yeah, and you were so nice. I kept putting you off because things just came up, and I was like, I had to go see a good friend yesterday who's having some problems, and I was like, I got to cancel everything. I got to go do that. So, it's important. Family and friends are very important.
Very important,
I think so, and we were just saying beforehand, I've never met you, right? This is like the first time?
Yeah, never met. I heard a lot about you. There's one of my good friends or one of my customers, Karma.
Yeah.
He sold you some pieces. He said, hey, you got to go see Mark and go check out his gallery.
Yeah, and he kept saying, Mark, you need to meet Alvin. I kept saying, but he's going to cost me so much. And sure enough.
Exactly.
No, I mean, actually, I'm very thrilled with what we got. So for people who may not know, what goes on in a silversmith's life, you have to make these contacts. Maybe you can tell a little bit about what it's like to have to, kind of in a way cold call me. But, I know who your work was.
Yeah.
I've sold your work.
Everything's just word of mouth, meet a lot of people at the shows, Santa Fe Indian Market, Herd Museum, shake hands all day long. And some of the people that I meet, I don't really remember because you meet thousands of people in a day. And but the ones that come every year, they're the ones you really focus on, and you say hello to them, shake their hands, take pictures, stuff like that. So everything is word of mouth.
Yes.
So far, I do have Instagram that I show everything that I build. I post it on Instagram.
And that's Alvin Yellowhorse 1. I just went to it, so you can go to. He's got some beautiful objects there. So, most of what you do really is work with a handful of the top dealers, and then some that through your own Instagram account or people finding you.
Yeah, and then I also just started teaching classes.
Oh, yeah.
So I teach silversmithing and inlay, the fundamentals. Everybody has their own level in their life where they're at. So I try, just to take that in consideration and let them build whatever they want to build.
Yes.
And when you take one of my classes, you actually walk out with whatever you build.
Yeah. And this is in Upton, next, just west of Gallup, right?
Yeah, Lupton, Arizona is where I'm
right,
from.
yeah.
I was born and raised there. I've lived there all my life. I'm 55 right now. I'll be 56 here pretty soon. But my mom and dad, they were always in the jewelry business. So way back when we had, in the 70s, covered wagon, spotted donkeys out front.
Right.
My dad he would run a rug line out there, and everybody that was traveling Route 66 would stop and visit us.
Tell them what a rug line is.
That's kind of how our business started. A rug line is just Navajo rugs put out
Strung
on
up, right?
Yeah, like a clothesline, and it's just all for show, and it helps, with the people stopping.
Right.
So from the 60s and the 70s, we did this for about 10 years.
Right.
And growing up as kids, we would our job as kids was to help the people on the wagons take pictures and get a little donation from them for the animals.
Right.
Yeah.
Did they ever forget one of the rugs on the rug line?
No. So my dad was a pretty Frank Yellowhorse. He knew all the Navajo rugs. He knew all the weavers.
I bet.
And he would buy 10, 15, 20 rugs within a year. And
he was Dene, right?
Yeah, he was
Navajo.
Yeah, Navajo.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
And you still have a shop. I mean, there's a bunch of Yellowhorse shops still right there.
Yeah, we're located in Lupton, Arizona. My mom has a shop. My brother is in line to get that shop. He's got one right next to her. Then my sister, she took over my dad's store. And so I have a little tiny studio next door to everybody. I got an uncle there too that has, the Yellowhorse stores. So there's four of them right in a row.
Yeah, very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Why is that? Yeah. Why do you think your family is so entrepreneurial?
They just got lucky. The land used to belong to L. Jones, who owned the bar. he passed on. And then from there, the land sat dormant. Nobody owned it. He didn't have any heirs. So my dad filed, and him and his brother got it. They split it. And so that's how we have all these little lots there.
Yeah, very successful too.
Yeah, and then I ended up with my own little place. I got a garage where I can tinker with toys, you know, cars, old trucks, stuff like that.
And also on this, you know, where you teach the jewelry, people can, you know, you don't have to be native. You can also be just somebody who's really interested in silversmithing, right?
Yeah, we've had people all over the United States take the class. I think I did 8 classes so far last year.
That's a lot.
Yeah, well, it's I just picked out the winter months.
Yeah,
for
the
that
slower
because
months.
it's really slow.
Yeah.
So I picked them out and invited people to do the classes, and
Right.
we'll do a week at a time. And then on Fridays is usually our goof off day. We'll go out and see all the petroglyphs and
that's
the
cool.
Anasazi ruins and
Right.
just the back country. There's a lot of beautiful area back there to explore.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm coming to see you.
Yeah, good.
I may not take the class, though. My sons may very well take this class.
I'll take you out. Yeah, we got
love
all kinds of toys to play with.
Oh, I
Dirt
bet.
bikes and side by sides.
Yeah.
4-wheel drive units. So
Yeah, well, one of the things you do I find so interesting is you also rebuild old trucks. That's really kind of just trucks, not so much cars, right?
yeah, anything
40s,
old,
50s.
40s, 50s,
Yeah.
60s. Right now is getting popular. Even the square bodies in the 70s.
Right.
But any of that I buy and sell. Some of them, or most of them, I keep for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got a
You're a
huge
collector.
collector as well. I have a lot in my yard.
You even have a bracelet you bought from me, which was one of yours, which I apparently way underpriced. And he said, "I'll just take that thing."
Yeah.
I think I remember when that actually happened. I thought, okay, yeah, probably a little underpriced, but that's okay. I'm all right.
I
with
got that one in the safe.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, let's start and tell people, because I'm very interested to see. We had a little bit of a discussion when we were just talking, you know, looking at your artwork, your bracelets and stuff. But let's hear a little bit. Like, you grew up in the Gallup area.
Yeah, I grew up in the Lupton area.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
right
you
out of-
really put those separate from, because
Yeah.
they're very close by,
We're
right?
very close by. Yeah. Lupton is my hometown. It's
Right.
just beautiful. The red rocks.
Yeah.
Everything out there. But yeah, I grew up there. My family, my dad set up right along Route 66. From there, as little kids, he's always had silversmiths in his life that he would use to repair jewelry
Right.
and buy jewelry from.
Sure.
And make jewelry. He always had somebody that was there
Like a
making jewelry.
bench silversmith.
Yeah,
right?
so we grew up around that, played with all the tools, and always got in trouble for
Yeah,
playing with the
tools.
silversmith tools.
Right.
Yeah, so after that, I graduated high school.
So you didn't have to go to boarding school? You were kind of
Let's see, boarding school. I actually went to Hunters Point boarding school. Mm-hmm. Ran away twice.
okay. So see, there's a story right there, right? How old were you when you had to do that?
I was probably 9 years old.
Yeah, and you're kind of
Yeah.
forced to do that, right?
Yeah, we were forced to do that. It was my mom was going to college.
Yes.
So I grew up with Bill Malone, Minnie
Yeah.
Malone out at
Yeah.
Pinion, and they ran that trading post out there.
Right.
So that was my family for a little while, probably 4 or 5 years.
When you were at boarding school, you mean? Or-
No, this was afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And so how long did you have to go to boarding school?
just 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
It wasn't.
still, you went away twice. You ran
Yeah.
away twice.
Yeah.
So there were some issues there with that, right?
It was just boring. It wasn't home, you know,
Yeah.
and I had a home and I didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
So, and then you have a lot of friends that were jumping the fence too, and so I
Yeah.
just went with him.
Yeah. And then who made you go back?
My mom. She,
Your mom,
she
she
hauled me
said-
back and dumped me off.
Yeah,
Throw me back over the fence.
Yeah. You sound like you survived it okay, but
Yeah, it was actually a lot of fun. Boarding school was fun. It was real strict
yeah.
from what I was used to.
In what ways?
Just folding your own clothes and washing your own clothes and
Were you
taking
allowed
care
to
of it.
speak your native language, or did they discourage
It didn't
that?
really matter. I kind of grew up not speaking my language. I didn't really. I knew how to speak Navajo. I just didn't. I always speak English, even in school.
Yeah.
So I was taught English
Yes.
until I got a little older, I started, because my mom and dad, they all speak Navajo.
Right.
And learned a lot from them.
Yes.
Then I got married to my wife, and she's native.
Yes.
Rug weaver. So from
beautiful rugs too.
Yeah, she's from Klagetoh.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that area. So she speaks fluent Navajo, and I've learned a lot from her.
I bet.
So
Yeah.
I have a lot of fun with it. Still.
And do you have kids?
Yeah, I have 3 girls.
Yeah.
From my first marriage. And then she has 6 girls from her marriage. Yeah. So it was all girls. Yeah. That's why I built the man cave and the garage just to get away.
Oh my God. So after then you went to high school. And where was high school?
High school was Gallup High School.
Gallup.
Graduated from high school in 87.
Yeah. Did you know Tony Abeda? He's a little older than you, I think.
Yeah, he was a few grades older, but I didn't know who he was at the time. You're kids and you're just trying to survive high school.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
And Gallup's kind of a tough town, right? It's not.
It's pretty tough, but throughout even my school years, I was always an entrepreneur. I was buying and selling lunch tickets and pitching quarters and anything to do with money, I was in it.
And were you making any kind of jewelry at that time?
Not at the time, no.
Yeah.
No, that didn't come until after I graduated and I had to get a job.
Yes.
So we went job hunting, around Gallup, the usual Burger King, McDonald's applications, and found out that a guy was hiring inlayers. Didn't know anything about inlay. I knew a lot about silversmithing and stuff like that. So we got a job with him, and it took me 6 months to build my first bracelet.
And was that with? Who was that with?
Ray Tracy.
That was with Ray Tracy. But that was actually in Gallup, not in Santa Fe?
No, that was actually in Gallup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
he had a huge production shop in Gallup.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking he was one of the first people that mass produce inlay.
Yeah. I mean, also an entrepreneur
in
his own right. And so you work on a single bracelet for 6 months.
Yeah, it took me 6 months to build my first bracelet. And at the end of 6 months, I got $13.50. So
wow.
It was you create a lot of friends there. They help you they show you how to do the inlay.
Right.
You watch them burn it out and you redo it several times.
Like an education. Basically.
Yeah, and then within a year, you got the design down, you got the colors right. Within a year, I was doing 12 to 13 bracelets a day. At $13.50, I was doing pretty good.
Yeah, you can make a living.
Yeah, so I worked with him for a couple of years, and decided that I wanted to do something else.
Right. Continue with Silversmith, but just not in that fashion.
Yeah. Continued silversmithing, but just not in that. My second job was with Craig Blanchard.
Yes.
Belaganas.
Right.
And I did a lot of silversmithing. Started out as a silversmith. Then I moved up to shop manager. So I was weighing out all the silver, all the stones, to all of the.
And when you're doing that, because obviously you're good at it, right? You grew up with your dad's store and your uncle's store and all that. But when you're doing that, did you feel like, okay, this is kind of taking me away from what I want to do, which is silversmithing?
it was just another area of the business that I wanted to learn.
I see.
Yeah, and then being promoted to a different position, the money was better, the job paid a lot better, and you have your own vehicle by then, so you're running back and forth to town, and
right. And you're young, right? You're like in your mid-20s.
I was in my mid-20s.
Yes. And so, how long did you work for Craig?
I worked for Craig. I'm gonna say 2 or 3 years. Probably 2 years. Worked for Craig for 2 years, and love the person. We became good friends.
Yeah, he's a nice man.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy. But it was just at the time, I think I was going through something. I don't really remember what. Oh, I got married.
That'll do. Let's go through something. What was that? Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah, I got married, and it got a little complicated. Her family started growing, and so we needed something a little bit better in pay.
Right.
There was a job offer that came from Santa Rosa, California, and we were going to actually move there and live a life. But when we got out there to look around for houses, apartments, everything was just
So expensive.
It was just so expensive. Yeah, so we ended up not taking the job. I came home, and then I moved to Phoenix, and I got a job with Thing De Leon, and he did diamonds, goldsmithing, a lot of casting, centrifugal casting, wax carving. So I started out as the cleanup boy. You know, I did a lot of his cleaning, cut sprues, and you know, find all the lost diamonds on the floor.
For those people who don't know, sprues, if you're doing like a sand cast or something like that, it's the part that comes out.
Right. Well, in centrifugal casting, it's all done in like a clay.
Yes.
Yeah. So
you had to clean up the part that nobody wants to mess with.
And then everything was cleaned up, snipped off, and piled up. But he did mass quantities of jewelry. So he would cast like 500 to 800 rings at a time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it was a job cleaning up all these, doing all the buffing and stuff like that. But I learned how to set diamonds. I taught him how to do inlay and mix it with his designs, his diamonds. And he did really well with that. So I worked with him for 4 years. And I decided in that 4 years that I was working for him, I started buying equipment. And with the idea of getting out on my own and doing something on my own. So after 4 years, I was pretty much ready to.
Yeah. So you've done. You're probably up to almost 8 years of just hands-on
learning and
right.
Yeah.
So you're hitting early 30s, 32, 33 in that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So then after Phoenix, I moved back to Lupton. My dad got inspired by Ray Tracy, and he was starting to do his own line of jewelry and. Not so much like Ray Tracy's, a different line.
And what was that sign? What was it called?
It was just Frank Yellowhorse.
Okay.
Indian jewelry.
Yes.
Yeah. So we hired probably 20 to 25 people at a time. We would teach them how to inlay, and we made tons of jewelry. And me and my brother and I, a younger brother, Brian Yellowhorse.
Also a silversmith.
Yeah, we would run up and down the highways all over the United States selling jewelry.
Really?
Just walking in and out of stores, trading poses and stuff like that.
East Coast, West Coast, both?
Everywhere.
So you would just have a
travel.
load of stuff that your dad made through using bench silversmiths, Navajo guys that he hired.
So we had our own silversmiths, we had our own inlayers, our own buffers, our own finishers.
Yeah, whole industry.
The whole industry. So that went on for several years.
What was that like?
5-6 years. It was actually pretty good because I was the shop manager. I ran the crew, teaching them how to do the inlay, and always learning how to do jewelry. So while I was doing that, I was actually doing my own line, just tinkering with little stuff and putting stuff together and making new designs, showing the inlayers new designs, and kind of made it my own.
And when you're doing that, as far as let's just start about the part of going across the country selling. What's that like? I mean, that's a really tough thing to do to make a cold call to people that may or may not want your stuff.
For us, traveling across the United States was an adventure in itself, and we made fun. We've always had fun doing it because we made it fun. We'd drive up and down. We had I had a '93 Chevy pickup. It was slammed, big boom box in it, and we'd pound all the way up and down the highways, just listening to our music, and it was really fun. It was more of an adventure than it was a job. But we knew what we'd have to do. We'd have to get to Dallas, Texas. We had to go through the phone book and look at all the people that we could sell to, make phone calls, and then schedule appointments. Then we'd hit the next town. We did that until we ran out of jewelry. We had 5, 6, 8 cases of jewelry to get rid of.
Yeah, Dad didn't want to see you until it was
Yeah.
empty, right? And then when you come back, you'd fill it back up and do it again?
Yeah, he was already working on stuff. He'd
Yeah.
already have a small load to go, you know,
Right.
and we would use all the money to buy more silver, more stones.
Right.
We're always here at the Tucson Gem and Mineral Show
Right.
buying lapis and sugilite, turquoise, and
Right.
different things.
Yeah, and
like
you're
that.
here. I mean, you came to see me. Clearly, obviously, we wanted to make a good relationship.
Yeah.
And we, you knew I was already selling your jewelry from other places where I'm buying it. So why not sell directly to me?
Right.
But the Gem and Mineral Show is an important thing for you, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's an every year event that we
yeah.
do. We after we sell, we buy a lot of material
Yes.
for the year to keep going. New turquoise, new stones.
and looking for new turquoise, right?
yeah,
And maybe
looking for
mines, hat
something.
mines, and things that may be out there that people
Yeah.
don't even know about.
Yeah, you meet a lot of people here,
I
and you really become friends with a lot of the miners, a lot of the people that
Need
work,
them, right?
work
You
hard.
need those people.
Yeah, they work hard to get the stones for us.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, so it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, and you do that for 3 or 4 days. That you,
Yeah, I'm here just a few days.
Yeah.
I walk around and I sell to different people, and then I buy all the material that I need. Right now, we're just in town having lunches with all our
Right.
customers and people
Right.
that still want to meet.
Yes.
Instagram is really, really big for me. I do a lot of business on Instagram.
Yes.
So I meet a lot of people. Right now, I'm having lunches and takeouts with customers that I'm building jewelry for,
Yes.
and also the students
Mm-hmm.
that are here.
And so when your dad has all these silversmiths working for him, did any of those turn out to be individuals that had their own career?
Yeah, there's a majority of them ended up famous and they have their own careers. There's a lot of people, but right now
Anybody you wanna share with?
they're older.
there?
Let's see, Alvin Yellowhorse
Yeah.
is one of them. The Du Boises are another family. Let's see, a lot of people has passed away too from COVID.
Yeah.
Lost a lot of good silversmiths, a lot of good artists
Yeah.
during that time. So a lot of them aren't with us anymore.
Yeah, you guys,
Yeah.
I think really up on the res got hit hard. Same as
Yeah.
LP, really hard. it
Yeah,
seemed
that
like.
was that was an interesting time.
I
You know,
bet.
being shut down.
Yeah, because
for
you
a
have
long
to survive too, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and are your shops on the reservation or not?
Yeah, my shop is within the boundaries
Yeah,
of
so
the
you got
Navajo
to
race.
so you got to do
Yeah.
whatever they're saying, and they shut down things.
They shut down
completely.
Gallup. It was you
Yeah.
couldn't even get into Gallup
Yeah.
for a few months.
Has that recovered up there yet?
Yeah, it's recovered, but times have changed. So used to you could walk into like a business, like your business, you could walk in and just you set up an appointment. Anytime now, you have to make an appointment, see if they want to see you.
Right.
So everything is made by an appointment. And that never used to be like that. It's totally different
Yeah.
now.
Probably better in some ways, in
Yeah.
the sense
Yeah.
that you're going to get the shop owner, or whoever it is, client, and because I think one of the hardest things for artists, especially native artists, I think to an extent is, constantly waiting for
Right.
the guy or person to show up to, look at what you have.
Yeah.
And you're at the high end of the spectrum.
Well-
I want people to understand this. This is like one of the top silversmiths working, period. I mean, if you look at, go to YouTube and what I'm wearing, you can see, this is like very impressive material.
Yeah. So in my work, I'm really after the collectors.
Yeah,
and
sure, of
the
course.
people that really appreciate turquoise,
Right,
different types of stones.
right. And you
So-
work in really high grade stones
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, Candelaria, Hidden Valley.
Royston,
Some of the Royston, Bisbee.
Lone Mountain, Black Web, Kingman, all this stuff like that. I mean, that's a killer piece on this. This is a Black Web Kingman, right?
Yeah. And another design that I'm doing that nobody's really doing right now is texturing the black jade
Yeah,
to make it
Yeah.
unique.
like that. The thing
Yeah.
again, you have to use YouTube if you want to see it. But basically, I will have a ring on that has all this texture and this black jade. Very unusual. The only person one of the people I've seen do one thing like that was Lolema did a couple of things like that.
Yeah.
You know, he did a Kachina face out of Lander, if you can imagine
Oh,
it.
wow.
He
Yeah.
textured Lander stone, it's like, which is mind-boggling unto its own. But, and have you ever worked with Lander? It's so hard to find.
I have a few pieces of Lander, but they're more saved for people that want to order a special piece because
absolutely.
It's just so expensive
and hard to get.
Yeah.
So you you become your own person. You're working for your dad. You go on the road. You guys are doing that, and then when do you go? Okay, I've got to do me. I've got to break free.
My mom and dad they separated, and so the business just kind of fizzled out and just kind of crashed. Everybody left. So I was just like, well, I got to do it on my own. So right next door to my dad's place, there was the men's bathrooms and the ladies' bathrooms in one building, 2 doors separated by a wall. And so they, from the way the mountain runs underneath, it was very hard for the water, the septic, and the sewage and stuff to go into the,
percolate down.
Percolate, yeah. So they always had problems with the bathrooms. It was always clogging up.
Right.
And so they just finally decided to close it down, and they used it for storage.
Right.
So I got half of that, and I set up my little shop in there.
Right.
And that's kind of how it started.
Recommissioned the toilet. So
I gutted everything out of there and made it all my own.
Yeah. And so, and how long ago was that you did that?
This would be 90s, mid-90s.
Yeah, so almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, mid-90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
2000, the year 1999 was my first ever Indian market.
Right.
Santa Fe Indian Market.
1999?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you show every year. You're down in the plaza area, right?
Right in the plaza.
Yeah.
This year I'm hoping to get the same spot.
I know you never know, right? It seems you're supposed to have it, but things seem to change. The director they have right now seems very good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and ribbons are good there. They really take care of their artists on the ribbons. So it makes the artists work that much harder to try to make something that would win ribbons.
Have you judged at that market?
No, I've never judged any market. I was invited to judge the ceremonial, but I just couldn't get away at the time because that's pretty much my busy getting ready for.
Yeah, that's the hard thing. And even if you were going to judge Indian market, then you probably can't really show your stuff and compete for that as well.
Well, yeah, you can.
As long as you
just somebody else would judge your work.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because one of the things I think that sets you apart, really, from the work that I've had in the past, is your selection. There's a few things, actually, but one of them is the selection of stones. Like you use interesting, unique stones that I see other people not, like meteorites or just what I have on. This is a stone. What's it called again?
It's called Unikite.
Unikite, which I've never heard of. And you hand collected this yourself.
Yeah.
After you found out where you could get it. We won't say where that is. You might want to get some more Unikite, and so you won't. Very difficult stone to work with. And but I love it. I mean, when I saw it, I go, is that meteorite? Normally I wouldn't say that, but because I know you do work with meteorite, that it might be. And you work with gold that's just, I bought a bracelet today that was just gold, raw gold.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is it about these unique substances that
everything goes back to Charles Loloma that started all of this.
Yeah.
And there's just a craze right now of the Charles Loloma look. I don't really want to be I didn't know Charles Loloma.
Right.
I never met him. He kind of passed away before I got out of high school.
Right.
And I've always wanted to meet him. But I am working talking to people and collectors that would sell to him.
Yes.
And they tell me all of these cool stories about his life. And it kind of inspires you. If an individual could do, anybody can do it.
Right.
Yeah. So that was kind of, what started. And then I like to do my own look. I like to
It's very
invent
distinctive. Yes.
new things. I'm always in the shop with the new tools that I'm buying, trying
Right.
to invent a new look and hoping, something will take off.
Yeah, well, like this is a double bracelet. It's a bracelet on top of a bracelet.
Yeah.
Which is, the whole thing's unique. And then I love the story, if you don't mind sharing
Yeah,
about
no, it
how
was-
you made this.
It was just a
design of
regular
chasing.
hammer, a framing hammer.
Yes.
So I was digging through the scrap bucket. I buy tons of scrap from like Thunderbird or any of the supply stores. I just buy ounces, 100 ounces of scrap. So I was going through it, melting it down to make my own ingots, and I found this piece in there, and I thought, wow, how did they make this? So I started studying it, and then started playing with it. I made a stamp at first, and it just took too long.
Right.
So I thought, hey, if I made a hammer and put all these grooves in it and hit it over and over and over, I would get that same effect.
Right.
So that's what I did. I took the hammer, put it in a vise down at the garage, and I got my grinder, and I just grind some lines in
just
it,
love
made
this.
it sharp, and then I
Right.
beat it up a little bit.
Right.
And then that's the look that I'm
Yeah.
using,
And that's hard, physically hard to. I mean, there's 1,000 hits in here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's
So you
crazy.
have to hit the same spot probably 15 to 20 times to
Right.
get that overlay of hammer look.
Sense. And when I look at it, though, I see, there is a symmetricalness to it. It's not like it's random. I mean, I can see that you're literally like a precision hitting it. It's what it feels like
Yeah,
when I
well,
see it.
on my hammer, the lines that I came out were a little crooked.
Yes.
They weren't straight on. So I have to hold a hammer a certain way to get that to go all the way across the bracelet. So it took a little bit of ingenuity to
I bet.
do something like that. But I love creating. I love building my own tools. I got a really nice garage that I could build just about anything. I even do junk metal sculptures, and I made a 4-foot bracelet out of junk metal, and then I used a huge piece of wood that I made it look like a turquoise stone, painted
Yes.
it, put all the matrix in it, and then put this lacquer over the top of it.
Yeah.
And I sold one to Richardson's downtown.
Yeah.
Old man Richardson was there. And it's a funny story. I asked one of the guys that's working there, Larry Fulbright. I said, hey, Larry, you want to buy one of my bracelets? He said, yeah, bring him in. I was like, I got 2 of them in the back of the truck. Maybe it'd be easier if you come out and look at them. And he's like, what?
Yeah.
So he said, well, all right. So he went out and I pulled the tarp.
Yeah.
And he's just like, what the heck are you smoking, Alvin? So I pulled him out and I put him on the sidewalk. And then Mr. Richardson just happened to be pull up and he got out. He looked at him and he told Eric, you better buy them both.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he buy them both or just
no,
one?
he just bought one.
Yeah, I could see
And the
him.
other one I put in the garage. I hung it up in the garage. So
You should enter that in Indian market in the sculpture.
yeah, I probably could.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of sculptures that I've done in
Yeah.
the garage that would probably win
You're not.
something.
Yeah, you're not limited to just doing one category, are you? You can.
No, you're not at all. But it's not really native oriented.
Doesn't have to be.
Yeah, well, to me it's not worthy of. That's just my view
Yeah.
of it because I made it.
Because it doesn't feel traditional.
It doesn't feel good enough. It was just
okay.
something that I
I
had
got
an
it.
idea
Okay.
and I threw it together. I pound out these huge
Yeah.
leaves. If I would have thought it out a little better,
Yeah.
I would have made it a lot better. But for what they are, it turned out really, really nice. And so if you come down, you could check
Oh
them
yeah,
out.
I'll check
They're-
it out. And
they're
so, would you consider yourself a perfectionist
Not so much.
as we look at this bracelet?
Well, yeah,
where you
on-
inlay every piece of turquoise with its own. What is that with the black outline? Is that,
That's black jet in
Yeah,
between every
in be-
stone.
I
And
mean-
and what that does is just brings out that whole look.
yeah. When I see that, I feel perfectionism. So, but you don't think you are?
Not really. I just love building
Yeah.
my own designs. It's just the way it comes out. And a lot of times when you build a bracelet, it starts out as one thing and ends up something totally different. It's not something you draw out.
Right.
You just start with a piece of metal.
Yeah, that's sculpture.
And
You're a sculptor.
work it. Yeah, you
That's
just work
exactly
it
what
until
that
it's
is.
done. And after it's done, you look back and, wow, this turned out nice.
I hear this from sculptors.
Yeah.
Both native and non-native artists. They just let the material kind of speak and have its voice.
There's actually projects on my desk that's sitting. One of them sitting for over 15 years.
Yeah.
That just hasn't developed. It's half inlaid. The other half is just kind of
waiting.
Yeah, it's just waiting for
to
the
speak
right.
to you,
yeah, either the right design, the right stones, whatever it is. I don't know. But I have a lot of projects sitting on the desk that are just unfinished.
I believe that because you're very creative. I see it. I mean, you're so obviously so creative person.
Thank
I
you.
mean, and you're because you never. I mean, even what we bought today is all. I mean, it's all quality. It's all great stones. But I can see, like this is completely different than this.
Yeah.
Is different than this. I'm pointing to the things that I have on, but have you ever dabbled in painting or anything like that as well?
No, I'm not a good artist at painting or drawing or anything like that.
Maybe,
stick
maybe
figures.
not.
I can do stick figures.
Yeah, you can make sculpture.
Yeah, I can make a sculpture, but I don't draw it out. I just start with a bumper or something, and
yeah. I think you should try some more of your sculptures. Seriously, try it just to.
Yeah, it's so the one that I built, I call him my bodyguard, and it's a kind of like a machine-looking statue that's almost 7 feet tall. And he's got a gun. The gun works. Everything turns on it. He's got hand grenades hanging on him.
Right.
He's got all kinds of like a tank in the back with hoses going to his mouth, and all built out of transmission parts, car parts, bumpers. I got a 72 Cadillac bumper that I cut up to make his knees and his legs and his feet. The buckets that they have on the claws of the diggers.
Yeah.
I used the claws for his toes and his feet. It's just stuff I welded together.
And you did that for you.
Yeah, I did that for me. It took me 2 years to build that.
Yeah.
And it sat unfinished for years. Yeah. Just a waist in the corner. It was just a waist, feet in the waist. Nothing else.
Yeah, that's an artist, by the way. Just so you know, that's what artists do. I mean, I call you Silversmith. You call yourself probably Silversmith too.
Yeah, Silversmith.
But really, it's artists working in metal and stones.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's actually a more proper term for you in some. Not that silversmith is a negative term, I don't think, but you're so clearly. Your life is around creativity. It seems like. Yeah,
well, a lot of that has to do with my dad, Frank Yellowhorse, my mom, Elsie Yellowhorse.
Yes.
They were always in the jewelry business. They're entrepreneurs or business people. So I learned a lot of that from them. And you, as you're getting older in your life, you kind of look back on all the times you wasted. You could have been more successful or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't. I'm just a laid back guy. I love doing what I do.
Yeah, clearly.
And not, I can't work an 8 to 5 job.
Yeah.
Even for myself, as far as building jewelry, it has to be fun. You have to enjoy it. It has to be something. It's not so much a business. It's just having fun in art.
Yeah, you have to create.
Yeah, creating new things all the time.
Yeah, and I bet you work more than 8 to 5. Probably.
Yeah, I work. I'll start. Normal day would be 8 in the morning to probably, if I get into it, 10 at night, 12 at night, and then get up early in the morning and do it all over again.
Yeah, and you're just having fun.
Yeah, Saturdays and Sundays are mine. I take the day off.
Yes.
Go ride, go play, build something in the garage.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, what's the future for you?
Just building jewelry. I just love building jewelry.
Yeah.
It's just I think it's going to be my whole life.
Yeah, clearly.
Yeah.
Unless you find another creative outlet.
My hobbies are the cars, the older trucks.
Right.
But I don't really. it's just a huge toy box that you just constantly feeding new tools that come out, new things that come up. Now everybody's into the rat rods and the trucks. It's all over the reservation. You could still pick it up pretty reasonable.
Yes.
But after COVID, everything just skyrocketed. So the stuff that I have collected right now, it sells. I get a lot of people that drive by from on their way to the
LA or somewhere.
They're usually going to the SEMA show, and they'll drive in with an empty trailer. I buy old signs, garage signs. I hang them up, and they always want something that belongs to you. They don't want something that you're selling, as far as garage art stuff.
Right.
So I hang it up and I make it my own.
Yes.
So I have big, huge golf signs from the 60s and 70s, Conoco signs, Texaco signs, the real nice porcelain stuff.
Yeah, and I would think you could get some of that still kind of around your neck of the woods.
No, I got it pretty much all cleaned up.
No, but yeah, already done.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Well, when scrap really went up in value, everything was hauling into scrap.
Yes.
So all the old cars, the nice cars, I missed a lot of them going to the scrap yard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I got into the auto business, is scrapping. When scrap was $600-800 a ton.
Right.
I was hauling from Lupton to Phoenix, stacked 4 high on a trailer, flatbed trailer. Yeah.
How old were you when you were doing that?
I was in my 30s when it really took off.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden scrap crashed.
Yes.
And, it's right now less than 100 a ton, and it's not worth.
Right. So,
it's good to buy, but
right.
it's not worth to
and
sell.
so when that happened, when the scrap business kind of went kaboom, did you go right back to Silversmith, or what did you do?
Yeah, well, I was always into Silversmith.
You were still doing it.
Silversmith, for me, paid for everything.
I see.
Yeah, it was my whole life.
Yeah.
So if I wanted something, I just work harder. Make more pieces.
And so is the exciting part for you today to make the sale, or the fact that, okay, now I have money so I can go buy?
Yeah, pretty much. It always frees you up. Money always frees you up to do what you want to do.
Right.
So, like when I get back home, I'm going to probably take a week off and go look for cars. Just drive up and down the highways and call all the people that I passed out cards to and see if they still want to sell.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And now you have some freed up capital, you can go do that.
Right.
If you don't spend it all at the Gem and Mineral Show. Right.
Well, yeah, the Gem and Mineral Show, turquoises went up.
So
and there's
much.
all kinds of turquoise now.
Right.
So you have to take that in consideration in the pieces that you build now.
Right.
So.
And do you still work with meteorites?
Yeah, I do I buy a lot of meteorites.
And you can buy them here, right? There's guys that sell it here.
That's mainly where I buy all my meteorites, is here in the Tucson show.
And do you cut them yourself?
Yeah, it's very, very hard.
I was going to
material.
ask about that because it's.
I use
super
a
hard.
regular vise and a die grinder. You have to use these die grinders that cut metal,
Yes.
and that's how I cut them. I was using a trim saw.
Yeah.
It'd go through
Destroy.
5 or 6 blades before you could even
because
make a dent.
they're made out of nickel and iron, right?
Yeah.
So.
And then using a coping saw,
Yeah.
one swipe, all the teeth are gone. Yeah.
Did you figure it out the first time that you did it?
Yeah,
Go,
so I
this
had
is
to take
different?
all of my pieces to the garage and put them in a vise and just start in on them with a die grinder. Cuts a lot faster.
Yeah, and when you worked that first piece, did you go, maybe I made a mistake here? This is not something I should do?
No, there was all kinds of meteorite. Iron meteorite, there's stone meteorite,
Yes.
there's iron and stone meteorite, palisite. So you have a lot of different things that you want to invent and put it into jewelry.
Yes.
I mean, I see a lot of what they're doing right now and cutting with lasers and making really cool things with meteorite. I'm not quite there yet. I like to do, my own style, my own.
Yeah, and you're old school.
Right.
Right? I mean, you have a tradition, you have how you learned it and all that, too. Even though it's clear that you use new technology for bending metals and sort of things.
And I follow a lot of people like Ernie Lister.
Yes.
What's his name? Perry Shorty.
Yes.
A lot of those people that do everything by hand.
Yes.
You really appreciate the tools that you have that you could do it a little bit faster. And it's not the old traditional style way, but it's the way I was taught.
Yeah, and it's still all by hand. It's all creative.
Yeah, it's all by hand.
I can guarantee you, when you have a hammer that you have to hold a certain way to bang, bang, bang to get this design on this bracelet. I mean, that's old school, brother.
And a lot of things that I like to do is new types of textures, new types of twists on with metal.
Yeah, like your silver bracelets. Those things I thought were terrific.
Yeah, well, I first saw this design in a railroad spiked knife. And so I ordered the knife. I bought it online and I studied it. And I think, wow, this would be so cool in a bracelet.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that. We bought two. People can look at them online, but
Yeah, so after I started building them, then there's other artists caught on.
Oh, they already started to knock you off.
I think we all kind of thought of it at the same time.
Yeah.
Because right now there's several artists that are doing their own styles.
Yeah, I'd never seen anything like that.
Mine is just a cube twist with texture.
Yeah.
There's other artists that are stamping each one of them cubes
Yeah.
and putting different types of their own unique style to it.
Does that bother you if you come up with your own idea and then you see 6 months or a year later you go,
Not at all, because when I started, I was copying Ray.
Yeah.
I was copying Belaganas.
Yeah.
I was copying, a lot of the people that I work with. It inspired me to, later on in life, you think, okay, I need to start doing something on my own.
Yeah.
And new designs develop over time that you kind of steer away from. But a lot of the people that I teach to this day, they're doing my style designs, my textures and stuff like that. I'm okay with it. Yeah, it's I'm teaching everybody.
Yeah.
I want everybody to learn.
Well, you're also not afraid.
Yeah, I'm not afraid, because I'm, by the time you're copying this style, I'm
moved on.
I'm way up here. Yeah, I got something else going on.
Yeah, no, I could see that. If somebody starts to say, "Oh yeah, this is it," and then you're like, "Nope, I'm moving. This is what's really now what I'm doing." And do you have a signature piece or type of what you do?
A signature piece. Well, the stamp that I have, the hallmark that I have, would be a signature for me. It's the horse with my signature underneath.
Yes.
As far as
like if you go and see a bracelet, let's say. I mean, I can tell your bracelets and things now.
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, oh yeah,
yeah.
that's got.
Well, it has a distinct style to it
that
people would tell it from, someone like Raymond Yazzie or Vernon Hosky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much.
Yeah. So it stands out on its own.
Yeah, I think a lot of the work that you do on the sides too of your, this texturing.
Yeah.
That you do is very. Looks very. That's yours. I see it when I don't see that.
A lot of the texturing that I do, it's mine. So my brother.
And everything
Dave,
you make is yours anyway. Let's just make sure that's clear. It's just when we say mine, I mean you don't see that in other.
Well,
pieces.
In a different field, not jewelry, but maybe knives.
Yes.
My brother Dave Yellowhorse, he builds knives and he uses that texture.
Yes.
He textures guns.
Yeah,
he
that's
does
a family
all of this.
thing, though.
Yeah, so I learned from him, and I took some of his textures and made them my own.
Yeah.
A different design than what he does.
Yeah, that happens.
But using the same tools, though.
Yes, exactly.
Same type of bits and stuff like that.
So your next, will you be at the herd?
Yeah, I'm gearing up for the herd right now.
You'll have to go back and get right on it, right? I mean, you're kind of wiped out already.
No.
No, you got to stop.
You got to start early and build up inventory.
So you've been working toward that.
Yeah. So ever since let's see, I'm gonna say before Thanksgiving, October. Wow. October is when I started what I brought in today.
Yes.
It took me from October to now to build all of that.
Yes.
And then at the same time, I'm teaching classes.
Yes.
And when the students go home at 5, I'm there till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning.
So you have to be very committed, very structured.
Yeah.
To get everything in.
Yeah.
So me stealing an hour from you for the podcast probably threw you off on something.
Well, we have time. We make time for that.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Is there anything else you want to share with us or people that are listening in?
I just love doing what I do, just a Navajo doing his own thing,
Yeah.
friendly Navajo doing his own thing. That's me.
You are very happy.
That's my dad's motto. Except,
Yeah, was he? Yeah.
Yeah, he was Frank Yellowhorse, a friendly Navajo doing his own thing. So,
Well, you're just a very joyful person, I think, too.
yeah, pretty happy.
Yeah.
My family's really supportive.
Yes.
My mom, my dad, my brothers and sisters,
Mm-hmm.
we all get along. We all help each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And you have a big family with 9 kids between the two of you.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, my brother, he's got 5 kids, and
Yeah.
my sister, she's got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a big, big, huge family.
Any upcoming kids that are going to be silversmiths or artists?
On my brother's side, Brian, there's Kyler and Braden. They're working on silversmithing, and they come over a lot.
Yes.
And I'll help them straighten out what they messed up, or
Right.
give them some insight on a design.
Right.
They want to know how to do a certain thing and how to do it, or they'll come over and they'll use the shop or the tools
Mm-hmm.
that I have and roll out their own pieces and stuff like that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, but everything that I do, it starts out as an ingot. I buy scrap silver.
Yeah, that's interesting. I
I
think.
melt my own silver down to make my own ingots.
Yes.
Roll out everything.
And so do you make it into almost like a bar before you? How do you?
Yeah, it's a flat bar.
Yeah.
It's probably 1/4 of an inch thick.
Yes.
You can make it as wide as you want by opening up the mold that you're
Yes.
using, and then constantly down at the shop, learning how to or building new molds that could, so I could pour bigger pieces, stuff like that. I'm always
Yeah. So every piece
incorporating
that,
tools.
let's say every piece that we have that you showed me, pretty much comes from ingot that you melt.
Yeah, everything comes from
Wow,
ingot.
that's
yeah,
amazing.
even the rings, even
Yeah,
the
that's
pivots.
crazy.
The chains, not so much. The chains are wire that you buy.
Yeah.
Over the
And
counter.
do you like to do that with the ingot because it's so much work, because it's authenticity?
Well,
kind
I
of thing?
live so far from town,
Yes.
and when we were running the jewelry store with my mom and dad,
Mm-hmm.
it was my job to run the town to buy supplies.
Right.
And we'd run to Gallup 4 or 5 times a day. It's 30 miles,
Yeah, it's gas
there
and
and back,
time and-
60 miles.
Yes.
So it really eats up a lot of your time.
Hmm.
So by building my own ingots and stuff, I save a lot of time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But it is work. I mean,
And,
it's
and then
Yeah.
your silver's going up.
yeah.
So then by buying scrap metal, it's a little bit cheaper,
Saves.
a few dollars cheaper.
Yeah. Even though
Yeah.
it seems like it would take a lot more effort to do it that
It
way.
does, but once you get into it and you're used to what you're
That's
doing.
the thing, because now you're a
it's-
specialist and an expert, so you can do it.
Right.
But you had to do that learning curve. You had to get over that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now everything just comes easy.
Yeah.
Just,
But that's great. I mean, that's wonderful. I think, that's the old school, bracelets and things we see. They're all made out of ingot. And
Yeah.
so you're keeping with that tradition, too. And you don't have to if you didn't want to.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of artists that I've visit. Some of the younger artists, they buy everything from me. They buy all their sheet, they buy all their wire.
Yeah.
They're constantly, you see them at Thunderbird.
Right.
Constantly, you run into all these artists that are
Yeah.
there, and they're just like, oh man, I could be working right now.
Yeah. It's easier to have the material done.
Yeah.
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 Very good. So people that want to find you, they can go to the Instagram account.
Yeah,
right?
I'm on Instagram. I don't have a website right now. I'm still working on that. But Instagram is working really good for me.
Yeah.
There's a few other videos on YouTube that other people has done, or galleries has done
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
That's about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's a select group, which I feel very honored to be one of those people that, gets to show your work.
Yeah. Thank you.
We have all the masters, I think, really in our, living and dead. And, it's nice to have a good group of your work.
And then all the artists, we all help each other.
Yes.
We buy somebody's having a hard time, or they need a special stone or something like
Yes.
that. There's a lot of artists that you get asked.
Yeah.
Who has what? Who had
Yeah, that's nice.
whatever you need. You can always ask one of your friends.
Yes.
Daryl Dean Begay is
Yeah, also a very
one of the
talented
good ones
guys. Yeah,
for me. He's a good friend. Philander.
Also a
Philander
talented
Begay.
guy.
Yeah. Hang out at his shop a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very good.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for
Yeah.
taking the time, and I'll let you go get ready. I know you got a ton of stuff to do, Alvin. You got a dinner coming up in a few hours, and then you're going to hit it hard, right?
Yeah,
Probably the rest
tomorrow I'll be at the jogs and
You're gonna
just
be
meeting a lot of
hustling.
people.
Yeah, it's a busy time. So thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, bringing some killer stuff that I got to buy, and I'm and then I get to share with my clients, which is really cool. Unless it fits so well, I don't know if this one's coming.
Well,
off.
I have a chart. Garland's came out with this chart that they use, and they want all their artists to use this chart. So you have 6 bracelets on the chart.
Yeah.
There's a small and the next size up, size up, all the way up to the largest that they like. So you use that chart over and over and over, and that kind of just fits everybody.
Yeah, it allows you to, instead of making odd sizes or whatever, you kind of know the size that people can wear.
Yeah. And then you learn what everybody's, the normal sizes.
Yeah, like I'm a 6.5 to 6 3/4 basically size, and I'm kind of your average bracelet size. If it fits me, it's probably going to fit most people.
Yeah.
And which is great for me because there's more opportunities for me to buy great stuff from contemporary artists like yourself that's going to fit. So these do. And we were talking about it earlier. Even if these don't fit, we can also do things where we close them up and make them, special from you.
Well, on inlay, it's kind of hard to adjust an inlay bracelet. That's another reason why I build all the bracelets that I build with really thick metal, because I don't want nobody bending them or
no one's bending
smashing them in or anything like that. So if anything doesn't fit right, I'd rather rebuild it.
Yeah, you make another one, or maybe cut down on the edge of the ends.
Yeah, you could cut down on the edge to make the opening wider.
Yeah. So, all right, I'm going to let you get to work. Thank you again, and I'm sure we'll be talking soon. I'm going to take you up on going out to some of the petroglyphs and seeing your car collections and all that fun stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, come on out.
All right, very good. All right, thank you.
All right.
Alvin Yellowhorse.